which is, even if you're not on the live stream with us, which we absolutely prefer you would be,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know what? You can still leave your thoughts. You can still leave your comments in real time, no matter when you're listening or when you're watching.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd prefer nothing less. That's the thing. So, especially tonight, we have a great topic that we want to discuss. And really, well, first of all, spoiler alert, it's AI. It's AI related. And it is the thing that helps us the most. It's ChatGPT related. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Microsoft has asked or did ask the employees to stop using ChatGPT for a little
Mm-hmm.
while. Why is this interesting? Because they've been the biggest investor in OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT. Um, and of course, OpenAI has other things too, but that's the biggest thing from a consumer standpoint that we're aware of and that we've interacted with.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Man, I even have found new areas where it's been integrated, like SurveyMonkey, believe it or not. Um, but if I do recall, I think SurveyMonkey is largely owned by Microsoft as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I could be wrong, but I seem to remember that. So we all know, especially if you're consistent listeners with this podcast, we know what ChatGPT is all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I know Denison does. So at the very least, the two of us know a lot. Um, but yeah, so this is what's been happening. This is an incident with it. Microsoft employees found themselves unable to access ChatGPT due to an unexpected restriction, where the company cited security and data concerns as the reason for the blockage. Um, yeah, indicating a cautious approach to third-party AI tools. Um, it's interesting, man. Rather than to just tackle it head on, fixing the issue, which I assume they did because this is no longer valid or lasting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's kind of like if Burger King. I don't know why it's food, man. Yeah, I hate Burger King anyway. But it's kind of like if Burger King was like, "Hey, employees, don't be eating Whoppers because they'll probably make you sick, but keep selling them." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? I don't know how you feel about that.
No, no, I feel you. Yeah, I know. It is very strange. Yeah, you're kind of preventing the people who are going to develop it, and as well as who need to feel and understand the customer facing side of it. Um, and you're just kind of telling them, hey, you need to stop because of X, Y, and Z or whatever. Um, it's a little strange. It kind of makes you wonder, like, what happened or what all is going on or whatever like that. Security concerns.
Yeah, those type of thing. Yeah, I feel that. It's bizarre too to just um be the company that is the largest investor and really made this service um accessible to so many, right? The
Mhm.
quickest application ever to 100 million users, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, at least up until Threads.
Really, Threads beat
Yeah,
that?
no, Threads beat that in 3 days.
Good lord, no one's on Threads.
I know, but, you know, it did help, technically.
It took me about 3 calendar months to even try Threads. Did you try it?
I have not, man. I have not. I still don't know how I feel about my, Instagram being linked to Threads, so and then I would be kinda stuck in it, right? I can't just delete the account.
That's kind of the thing about it is I don't really see what you gain over that you aren't already using and interacting with on Instagram, but I digress with that. Definitely, yeah, it's interesting to see that here's what makes the story interesting. We're going to dive into it more.
Mhm.
Uh, the fact that the company that made ChatGPT in a lot of ways made ChatGPT a household name, prevented its own employees from using it because of security concerns. That in and of itself is a big enough story, and I think gives weight to something that we should all know about and learn about as to what the issue was, and if we need to keep anything out as far as our eyes open in the future, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And, how it pertains to other AI programs or at least chatbots that we have around.
yeah, like our old friend Bard,
Mm-hmm.
oh Barty. So
Good old Bard.
old Barter, dude. So with that said, I say we go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Three, two, one. What's going on, everybody? I'm John,
And I'm Dennison.
and this is the catch up. That's right. Before we jump into our topic, I want to get you guys the three best ways to support this show. And there are three of them. It's simple. You can count that high. I remember how. Number one, we even got visual examples. There's one thing with multiple logos, but it was one thing. um, leave us a rating and review wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. If you're on the live stream with us, if you're listening through audio, which I'm proud to say, after many delays, we are caught up. By the time you hear this, we will be caught up with all of our episodes, which is exciting. Um, and we know that some of you are on the live stream and some of you are on the audio, and equally important are us knowing your thoughts. It helps us grow. It helps us become even better podcast hosts, and it gets us in front of more potential listeners, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Number two, there they are. Oh man, guess how I got one of those things with the other. Um, number two, jump on the live stream with us if you haven't already. And even if you are on the rewatch, we still want your interaction in real time as you watch it. Is a great way for us to interact with you, but preferable. And granted, we're going live late at night, but preferable is for you to jump on the live stream with us, get that notification gang going, and file in. Let us know your thoughts about whatever it is we're talking about while we're talking about it. Is how we want to do this show, is how we want to connect with you in real time, and it's what makes this catching up all unique and special, man.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, there it is, in case you forgot what that looked like. Um, check out our shop. It is fully updated. It includes things like the let's go ahead and get into a t-shirt. Oh
Oh,
man,
man.
there it is. It's fully updated. We just sold Denison's favorite shirt, actually. We sold a copy of that the other day. The should I pull it up?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and pull it up, bro. Pull it up.
I,
Show them.
I just want to show them right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You got to show them right, bro.
I don't want to disrespect you guys. Yeah, you gotta get that soundbite flowing though.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay, let's share the screen here, just real quick. Boom. There it is on the left. Oh, so it is trap horn worthy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll catch up with you next week or next time, is what the shirt says.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the left. It's got some vintage kind of video game vibes to it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Looking all
Um,
fresh and clean.
obviously, whoa, very zoomed in here. Here we go. Okay, so this is showing me as a shop manager. So this is not what it will look like for you guys, but um, Let's just go here instead. Boom, there's your black. There's some dark blue,
Mm-hmm.
some gray, and some light gray. Got all kinds of color options, all
All
kinds.
kinds, man.
It's only starting at 1050. Come on, man. Give me
Darn
some.
near free.
Give me a navy for large. You know, it's not about the money making for us.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we want that to happen, but we just want you guys to have stuff that you like that represents our show, and that helps spreads the word too because you love sharing it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So we got all new merch available, including those two shirts, and we want you to check it out. So just do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, with that said, let's dive back into this topic, bro.
Yeah.
So to further this along, the company, being Microsoft, cited security and data concerns as the reason behind banning staff from using ChatGPT, um, indicating a cautious approach to third-party AI tools. Cautious being third party being interesting labels of this because they kind of helped make it happen. But
Yeah.
um, the restriction was later identified as an error during a system wide test for managing large language models. Microsoft was quick to rectify the mistake, restoring access and reaffirming the safety measures of their endorsed AI services. So, what is it about this? Because here's a direct quote from the article.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, due to security and data concerns, a number of AI tools are no longer available for employees to use. That was the update on the internal website, right?
Got it. So that's the
Um,
memo that got sent out.
right. But um, sorry, I'm just sifting through this real quick.
No worries.
The company initially said it was banning ChatGPT and design software Canva, which we all know what Canva is too, and it's been more integrated with AI through OpenAI, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it says, but later removed the line in the ad advisory that include those products. Um, Microsoft said the ChatGPT temporary blockage was a mistake resulting from a test of systems for large language models. The quote here says they were testing endpoint control systems for these large language models and inadvertently turned them all off, or turned them, I'm sorry, inadvertently turned them on, all of them on for all employees. They restored service shortly after they identified their error. Um, and so, what that sounds like is that they had a number of large language models that overlapped each other and caused them to blame ChatGPT for the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than these other issues. And I don't know to what level you can speak on this, but what do you think that they were testing that was causing issues? And why would they need these other models beyond what ChatGPT offers?
I mean, I think, you know, going on the question of like why would they need other AI models and stuff like that. I think it's because hmm, so sorry. That was
Yeah,
a big one.
yeah,
Um but I think it's because of kind of what we already saw. Um OpenAI talked about their during their developer day where you have a feature where you can create a chatbot, but it's tailored specific. So I can see like a chat GPT bot that they create that is more tailored towards um, X, Y, and Z. So in
sure.
some ways it becomes like it makes sense for you to um it makes sense for you to be a little cautious on these other AI models as well as just have other ones because you can have them more focused, right?
Sure.
Just like, people, you'll have a focused set of study or thing that you normally go into and look at and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree. And I think that some of these other services would probably be more angled toward internal needs,
Hmm.
technology development, specifically coding, probably.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could see that.
yeah, from an outside perspective, coding would be one of the first things that come, and then there's probably even more niche kind of stuff beyond that. Um, but to ban Chat GPT, interesting, you know, especially when you're the one. And I think this goes back to a variety of different discussions that we've had, including one of them that I had solo a few weeks back, sharing that developer from Google his concern with things like Bing and other AI as well. But
Hmm.
um, it is interesting for these people, these companies to invest so much in the development. And then the second they see an issue, they're like, well, we're shutting that down, but everyone else outside of this company can keep using it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
which if things grew, if to be more specific, if things really were an issue with ChatGPT and it wasn't some internal Microsoft AI, and that issue grew, they would do what they would need to prevent the public from being harmed for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And this was only a 4 hour, if I remember right, shutdown. Um, but here's some more details. So privacy and security in AI. Microsoft's stance highlights the industry's focus on the potential risks associated with AI tools, such as data privacy breaches or misuse of sensitive information.
Mm.
The mention of other AI services like Midjourney and Replica in Microsoft's advisory suggests a broader concern, though, for third party AI tools. One thing that I noticed is that, you know, ChatGPT is so censored now,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
it's more
censored in,
muted.
yes, and censored in the way where Denison and I have talked about this off stream largely. But one piece of this is I have a massive thread on ChatGPT. I mean, it goes back at this point, I think it goes back 60 days.
Oh
But if
wow.
but if I refresh or it asks me to log back in, even though that thread is long, it will only admit that it remembers back to the last time I logged in
Mm.
or the last time I refreshed the page. However, when I work with it to write long form content, it absolutely is subtly informed by things as far back as the origination of the thread itself.
Yeah, which is
But
pretty
subtle.
amazing.
It is, and it's what I would want. It's what I would ask for out of that tech. But up front on a entry level consumer or entry consumer level, it appears and presents itself as, oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember what happened since the last time you logged in. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
And you really have to dive to prove that wrong. But I just find that odd. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it is a little. I think I think it is a little bit strange when you're the main company that is banning your own product without any customer say, um or without any disruption to your customers or whatever like that.
Yeah,
I think it is intriguing, and it is kind of a little bit of a it puts up question marks or whatever like that. Like, was it because I could see something, right, of um you have these employees who are using ChatGPT, at a much more vigorous pace, right?
hmm,
And they continually push, um, say, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. Uh, they continuously like add more to what the capabilities of ChatGPT is, like feed it more information, but more personal information. And maybe I could see like ChatGPT pushing out some of that information, like when someone's asking like what the sky is, is the sky blue or whatever like that. But
sure.
then the Joe Blow on the other side went overhead, went over and like added, um, I don't know, Tom's personal information. Then on the other side, ChatGPT says like, "Oh, hey, here's your answer to, why is the sky blue or whatever." And boom, it's like Joe Blow's wrong information or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Like it somehow ingested like the wrong, or um spit out the wrong answer or something similar to that. I could see something like that happening, especially because it says that they found, or they saw a glitch, and they were able to kind of fix that and then like resume within like 4 hours, which is pretty quick, which means that it wasn't too painful, at least not that I can think of.
Yeah. Well, and what this says here, although I have to dive deeper, is that you know, there were quick research being done that shows other AI services like Midjourney, which was uh, image generation, right? Midjourney is.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an image generation. It's like the other, it's the knockoff brand to Dolly in some
Yes.
ways.
Technically, yes, is the second tier to Dolly. So, and then Replica as well. It just
Mhm.
showed that they have broader concern for these third party AI tools. And third party being some of these are integrated through plugin, um, as is Dolly actually with ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Uh, but yes, I think that was a large part of the concern there is not just the fact that they thought, oh, this conversational AI is part of the issue, which they were wrong, as we
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
But I think they were more just concerned about how the other integrations with it could have been messed up as well or causing the issues, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could see that.
yeah. So, in light of the incident, they're still encouraging the use of Bing Chat, which is run by ChatGPT largely or integrated
Mhm.
with that. And then, but they say they can manage the safety of it better. That's kind of a cop out, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then AI integration in Microsoft products. Let's dive into this one a little bit. Microsoft has been incorporating OpenAI's technology into its flagship products, which we talked about with like Windows 11 and things like that.
Mhm.
The integration demonstrates Microsoft's commitment to leveraging AI for improving its software ecosystem. We've discussed this. I'm going to keep reading these notes here.
Mhm.
Um,
No worries.
the accidental blockage could raise questions about Microsoft's ability to manage the complex interplay between AI innovation and operation reliability. Um,
Mm.
and I do think that this is a great point because they are among those that are trying to establish themselves as a leader in AI integration for how it benefits its consumers. And you know, there's a fun little quick detail I have about this regarding my own job. Um, I actually have a new work laptop which has been phenomenal. It has Windows 11 on it,
Mhm.
but I went into the settings and it is actively set up by our IT to block the AI integration that is being offered for free
Hmm.
with, well, included in my Windows 11 um, license, right?
Yeah.
It's being blocked. And I did make the case on one aspect of it to the IT guy who has not made the change yet, but he did say interested,
Mhm.
where it can just go through my emails and then help me create a work calendar from just reading that. I love that idea. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic idea. I think most people would benefit from
Yeah.
that. But those type of things um, are just not made possible without OpenAI, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, OpenAI does make a huge impression on like, um well, Microsoft's overall like, um push now, right? into the search space, but even just in general, like the AI race that's kind of going on. Um, so yeah, I think I think it is interesting
Yeah,
uh to see how Microsoft is handling this situation. Um, I don't know.
I do too. I think that for them to promote themselves as AI leaders, and really, I have to give them credit, man. They're doing it through actual work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like they're out here saying, "Oh, look at us, we have one language model." No. And then conversely, I still have to fight Siri over the same things I had to fight it over since like 2017. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is remarkable, and I understand Apple is approaching it differently. Air quotes on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but regardless from that, it is interesting at the same time. And I think this would be my biggest takeaway for this whole episode. And
Mm-hmm.
there's still a couple other points we can touch on here. But um, for this really on a consumer level, industry leader of integration with AI,
Mm-hmm.
for them to still be that level of hesitant to where they shut it down entirely for their whole staff for half a workday because of an issue they couldn't even pinpoint. I think that should be a message for everybody, don't you?
Yeah. Yes
What?
and no.
Yeah, I
Yes and
wonder
no.
what your thought is on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the it has the potential of becoming a problem, but I think the reason why I even don't see it as that being that scary is like it depends on how these fears, right, become realized, right? If it's something similar to where it's like they believed that it had sentient thought process or something similar to that, and they're like, "Oh, cut it."
Yeah,
Um, uh, I mean, sure, that's possible. I don't think, but I think we're kind of far away from that kind of possibility. Um, but I can easily see it mixing up data and spitting out the wrong thing, um, uh, or scaring someone into believing that it's sentient, kind of similar to how Bard did, or not technically, it wasn't Bard, it was a different
right.
model.
Yeah.
Um, did for that Googler.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the way they want to be called, Googler.
Googlers. That's
Yeah, a Google
that's what
person.
staff is called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
I,
that.
I remember that actually. A side note on that, it was actually, I believe, 3 weeks ago we did that, or I did that episode where I had the interview of this guy on 60 Minutes who he did help develop Bard, but he
Mhm.
also just basically or they labeled it in the story as he helped develop earlier AI versions that Google used, and two of them that we knew of and have talked about on this podcast, they had to shut down. It was just in for internal staff. But do you remember that? I remember you telling me about one of those.
Yeah, no, I think I remember. I think I remember that in that case, it was that the AI model that they had uh, stopped talking to them, or I should really say, it stopped talking to them in like English into like a natural language that anyone would know. Um,
Yes, it developed
uh,
its own language and then taught it to other internal computers.
Correct, correct. Yeah, exactly. Use that other language to communicate to other AI ones that they had. Um,
Yes,
and so then they shut that down.
and if you listen to that episode or watch that interview, that's what this guy's concern is AI creating its own form of communication, but writing it in a way that code monitors can't tell that that's what's happening, right?
I could see that.
Yeah. So it's a valid concern on those type of things. That's not what Microsoft is talking about here,
Yeah.
or at least that's not what they're openly talking about. But really, when you integrate so much and it's developed so quickly, and these rollouts are now pushing other companies to try and do more quicker,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't believe that we're at a point right now where the consumer usage of AI should be concerned. But in due time, in 5 years, in 3 years, maybe it's something that should be hashed out. And I will say too, um, I don't want to see the helpfulness of certain things like Bard and ChatGPT be taken away, but
Mm-hmm.
I am impressed. Uh, and I talked about this a little bit as well. I am impressed and I respect the fact that the government is approaching this proactively uh,
Yes.
with executive orders, and then the bills that have been going through the Senate and House of Representatives as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we've talked multiple times about how that is not happening or never has happened when it comes to um, social media, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we have just every major social media just winging it and doing wild and crazy stuff. Now, when I wish you remember, so we talked about this. What was this last week? Right? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? No, it was more than that, wasn't it? It with Meta doing
Mm-hmm.
its
Oh,
AI.
creating their influencer AIs.
Yes, which are based on real people.
Yeah.
I haven't even checked in on those since we discussed it, but um even just so today, there were I got the notification, oh, that it's this person's birthday, right?
Yep.
So I went there and it was like, write birthday wish with AI. I was like, on Facebook, like,
Interesting.
right. But they're kind of, in my opinion, overextending, um trying to be like, hey, look, we have AI too, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe the same way. I think they just, yeah, just not the right method, you know.
I agree, and it's just as interesting to see that. And and then they're the ones not being regulated or monitored to nearly the same level as everything else.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I am I hope our regulators continuously kind of push the possibility of, or not really, sorry. I hope that our regulators continue to push on like new legislation as AI develops and like stay on top of it. Um because it can get out of hand very quickly, right? Like, like you already said, we already kind of seeing that like everybody's coming out with their different types of AI bots and stuff like that, to try and capitalize on what ChatGPT did, right? To with for OpenAI.
yes.
Um, and so I think I just hope that our regulators are able to kind of keep up with that trend, um, because otherwise we're going to get into a really bad situation where either we'll be, filled with an abundance of one mediocre AIs that are just kind of flying around the internet. I could see something similar to that, to um, getting something that has like no ethics, like
Yeah.
creating a, and we talked about this before too, where some of these bigger companies that are really pushing and rushing to get these new AI, general AI, generative, I should really say, AIs out the door, and kind of getting rid of a lot of their ethics committees that they have on these AIs, um, or how it's supposed to be, the when it comes to the um integration and development of these AI models. I think um you want to make sure that you either have a legislation that keeps that in place, because I think as competition continues to grow, you're going to just see that more and more of them are just going to be like, well, we don't need this, or we'll fix it later. We'll add in ethics afterwards. It's going to be a DLC or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right. New download content.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, exactly. Well, and the thing about it is too, you see well, I will start with this. I have not been on TikTok nearly as much as I was the first half of the year, even the
Hmm.
last half last year. In my experience, which I would be interested to know how other people feel about this, so let us know in the comments. But this interface with TikTok is trash. Their upgrade to their AI, or I'm sorry, their upgrade to the oh gosh darn it, why am I blanking on the phrase? But the tech that gives you your feed, right? Because it
Oh
analyzes what you like and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff, the threads and all that. I can't stand it because, to be honest, for some reason, most of the things it shows me now I have zero interest in, but that's neither here nor there. You'll open your phone, it'll be some video, but then you'll go and then the next one's eligible for commission. And then there's two live streams, and then there's paid ads, and then there's another video, and then there's like get yourself some new shoes kind of an ad, but it's eligible
Hmm.
for commission, and it's very very frustrating to use. But it's interesting to see that, and then I one of the ads I keep coming across used fairly loosely, especially considering I haven't really been using the app that much,
Hmm.
um, outside of job needing. But it's usually an AI that's sitting there telling me, hey, you need some female attention, download the app and let's talk about what we can show each other, right?
I could see that.
Yeah, which is bizarre on a completely unrelated side note, because why? I mean, who I'm not going to be a guy that starts up with having a chat bot that like is supposed to be sexually attracted to me. That's very very strange. But but
You
regardless,
don't want her, man?
no, I mean I want a her, bro, but not a her. Yeah, my thing is this, like I just don't understand that at all. I completely have that really kind of was the one that broke the chain, you know what I'm saying? Was
Yeah.
like, you guys are crazy. Like you're just trying to get me involved. So I disengage from that. Anyway, I say all of that to say we all need that consistent thing that we relate to, that we connect on, and that makes each other who we are. You know?
Yeah.
And so for me, that thing is, I would imagine for most people, even if they don't say it, subconsciously they know that's what we need is each other. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
interaction, that connection with each other, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I know we're kind of getting close to wrapping this up. So let's run through the rest of these notes here real fast. Okay.
Yeah.
So uh, Anonymous Sudan is a group. Okay. They claimed the attack on ChatGPT here, and brought attention to, which brings attention to the vulnerabilities that high profile AI services might face, right? Because we
Mm.
have had trouble finding who we've needed to find. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
made more coverage of these things that have gone on behind the scenes. Um, and so, yeah, you kind of hate to see that with
Yeah.
certain situations. And is there anything you would add to that, man? What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, trying to think. I think my anything that I would add to it, I think it's mainly just um I mean, we already knew about these types of concerns just like any new piece of technology, there's always going to be someone who's going to be able to exploit it, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I think it's just kind of a wake up call for all of us in general. Like no matter how powerful an application is we just have to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
companies that made those as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, one of the things that this goes on to say, and that we've we've known as well, is that AI development doesn't occur in a vacuum. It's subject to international politics, ethical debates. It's not just America, right?
Yeah.
That they have to build this stuff off of. There's China, there's the Middle East, there's Russia. I mean, probably not Russia. I don't know. Not to the same degree when it comes to ChatGPT, but all these places have an impact,
Yeah.
and so it's not just us, but then on top of that, the AI developers that still develop it to make it more useful and friendly, and really, outside of the things that we've seen Chat GPT specifically add
Mm-hmm.
and then disappear, not outside of those things, but on those things, a large amount of time, it probably is because the way it resonates in a different country that is not the way that resonates with us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And so, yeah, those are really the big things from this story, which is interesting. And of course, it's good that they found out that that wasn't the issue that they were having. It is interesting they were having issues over
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft during this time. Um, but still a resounding and good review for all of us who do use ChatGPT, whether it be for fun or for work.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, did you have anything that you wanted to add on this topic, my guy?
No, man. No. I think we covered that really well, honestly. I think, if anything, this is just it's just been a really good it's been an interesting way to see kind of like even the developers of these technologies are still having issues of them of their own, right? That it's not just going super perfectly smooth. Um and it gives us a little bit more perspective when it comes to like the our own, I guess I should say, like our own consumer concerns for these programs, mainly for like these AIs and how they're being developed and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It is it's interesting to know that even on this level, right? Like you were saying, there's still struggles behind the scene, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
still tribulations for people that are working in ways on things that aren't research based conversational AI, which I do think, for the sake of the future of the tech and the industry itself, it was a good thing to launch these first,
Yes.
to get people interested and to provide an exorbitant amount of information, man.
Mm-hmm.
If I do recall right, 12,000 research documents just for science
Yeah.
in, informed ChatGPT, and that's just for science. That doesn't include medical. It doesn't include all sorts of other in-depth info you would need.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it really is amazing. I think it's a great thing that a version of AI that I will always support. The image and music generation stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's where I kind of start to go a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as making and sifting through high level info and making it available, fantastic. Big fan. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Summarizing and stuff like that. Um, it's great for that.
yeah, I agree. So cool. With all of that said, I think we had a great discussion on this. I want to remind you guys, in case you forgot between now and then, the quick three best ways to support us. First, leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. or wherever you're watching. Each and every spot has a spot to do that, whether it's even just a thumbs up on Facebook or on YouTube. Um, or you can leave us reviews on our Facebook page as well. Subscribe, follow wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Number two, jump on the live stream with us every Thursday night. We are going live. And then the audio episodes drop on Mondays. So wherever you're listening, and wherever you're watching, those are your tips. And number three, if you want to support us with some, merch, you got all kinds of merch, all of the latest and newest and greatest linked wherever you're listening or wherever you're watching. So with all of that said, I think we had a good one on this. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll catch up with you next week.